Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your Astrology for Growth reading for the month of January. In this reading, we're going to explore themes that you will be working with and working on this month, as well as any other pertinent and relevant messages for you and for your growth through your journey. While I am getting the cards ready, I wanted to let you know that there's more information for you in the description below. Links to the extended readings as well as to other services that you might find interesting. So if you have a chance, oops, my decks seem to be interbreeding. I have one card from another deck in a card it's not supposed to be in. That's interesting. I'm going to come in one day and there's going to be a whole other deck that I've never seen before, and it's going to be... All right, let me leave that alternate reality for a second and come back here. All right, so let's go ahead. What is the theme card for Taurus? Now, I'm remembering what just happened with the card. It was, one thing is not like the other. Something doesn't belong. So I'm wondering if that's going to play into your theme. So I'm just going to kind of hold on to that thought. All right. Ace of Air. And this is interesting because this is a card about taking a stand, and just as what happened with the card being in the wrong deck, it was one against the rest of the deck. So this is where you're really going to be challenged, Taurus, to stand your ground and to see and speak your truth when you need to. There's also strong premonition energy with this card. So your precognizance, knowing things before they happen, or getting feelings, or for me, it's precognitive dreams. But anyway, that sense of knowing in advance is going to be heightened, and you need to make sure that you're paying attention to that. And I'm being drawn to these poppies on the ground here. It's almost like a ring of protection. So what has come before you is now serving to protect you. So any experiences, any challenges you've been through, now you can look at as protection. It's like another raincoat, because you know how to get through certain situations unharmed. Okay, that's a really interesting message. So what else do we need to know for Taurus? The cards not being super verbose. Feralilt and the Queen of Wands. So this is about taking creative charge of harmony and flow. Seeing yourself as being in charge of the harmony and flow that goes on in your life. So if things aren't going easily, if one is not leading natural I think is a good word, because flow is natural, and when things happen in flow, they feel natural. It doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel contrived. So if something isn't feeling natural, Taurus, this is about you realizing that you're creating that unnaturality. It's not even a word, that inauthenticity, or that lack of true self. So when you are feeling empowered, when you're feeling in control, but in a good way, not like controlling, like trying to micromanage every little aspect of every little situation, but when you're feeling centered, maybe that's a better thing to say, when you're feeling centered, Taurus, and it's like you're not feeling swept away or bombarded, but you're kind of like, I'm here, I see everything that's happening, here's what I need to do next. Then that's the state that's going to help you forward. If things in your life are blocked or stopped or not working, go back to what are you creating? What are you creating with what you focus on? Are you focusing on lack? Are you focusing on things that aren't right, things that aren't going well? Or are you really actively creating that positive future that you want to see for yourself? Because actively creating and I think a lot of us are guilty of this. It isn't just about visualizing or writing in your journal or making a vision board. It's not just doing it once. It's actually paying active attention to it throughout your days, even if just for a second. We are actively creating and we're actively manifesting, even if we don't even know. So that's why it's really important to see yourself as the origin. The queen is, that feminine energy, it gives birth, right? And this one is actually a story of birth as well. So we give birth to whatever it is we're creating without even knowing it. Okay? Now I'm being told to stay with this a little bit longer. Okay, so I think what this is seeming like is it's tying to the premonition. And look, we got this red going on here with both of these cards. So if you feel, is this about being able to, yeah, okay. This is about actually being able to shift the premonition. So if you feel something is going to happen or you feel a certain way about a situation, you can actually create a different outcome. You can actually create a different thing. Okay, a different way of working through the situation. I feel like I'm babbling a little bit because this is a really amazing concept to me. The fact that you can change a precognition. Precognition is like remembering the future, right? So it's as if the future is going to happen, it's destined to happen that way. But this is saying, Taurus, that at this moment you have the power to change even something that was predestined. I personally feel as a reader that there's a little bit of both in everyone's life. There are things that we choose with our free will. There are choices that are soul made beforehand that we can still choose with our free will, but there definitely are things that are meant to be. And this is kind of turning it on its head, Taurus, that maybe everything isn't as set as you think. You're much more in charge than you think. Okay. That's fascinating, and I want to delve more into that, into the extended. But before we get there, I want to pull got a new deck, one that I'm actually aware of, not one that the two other decks have like mated and created a third. And I want to see what your message is for this month. It looks like we've got two. We have heighten your vitality. That's such a pretty card, isn't it? And we also have, oops, not three, acceptance of love. Now this card, I love both of these cards. Now, what's interesting here is that the Queen of Wands in some decks talks about vitality. It's that sun energy, that life energy. So on one hand, Taurus, this is just a reminder to make sure to take care of yourself. Keep yourself physically healthy. And because the thing is when you're sick or when you're a little bit compromised physically, that affects your emotional life. It affects your ability to manifest because it's a lower energy. We're at slightly lower frequencies when we're sick because the body's trying to reset itself. Okay, so this is saying that in order to, because your vibration is so strong right now, you need to make sure that you're operating from the right place because there's a lot of creation going on in here. There's all these little vignettes to look at. There's a woman playing the piano up in the corner, which I really love. You probably can't see because the detail's too fine. But the point is that there's a lot of creative potential that you have available to you. With these two cards, these are also very creative cards. So if you haven't been creating anything artistic or anything that you enjoy creating, you need to make sure you're doing that, because when you're creating something you enjoy, even cooking, even gardening, anything like that, then you are creating and manifesting at a higher vibration, even if not actively doing it. Okay, so watch your vitality. Acceptance of love is an interesting message because it talks about the balance between male and female, but it also talks about being able and willing to enhance the lives of others through love knowing that you are complete. So it's self-love first. That's the Watcher vitality. And then it's the blended flow with others. So always taking care of yourself first. What do I want in this situation? What do I need to do for myself to be true to myself and to feel healthy? And then it is stepping out to enhance the lives of other people with that same love. And really, it's a very similar energy flow for these two. You know, the self-love, the self-empowerment, the self being centered in the self, not self-centered, but centered in the self, and then allowing that flow to come out. Okay, is there anything else in here for us? I feel like there's more in this card. All right, is there anything else in this card? You know, Taurus, I'm feeling like, you know, we're coming to the tail end of Capricorn season, and usually, you know, it depends on where your Jupiter is, but if you're in a sign that's the same element as your sign, there tends to be a lot happening because it tends to be a lucky time for you. So I'm just feeling that a lot of Taurus energy is very run down right now. And it is very important to be extra careful with yourself, to not push so hard right now. There's just such a strong feeling coming off of this card. I'm almost seeing a little elephant come out of here. Is there a message with the elephant? Okay, I'm going to pull out 2 cards for that. What if someone's spirit animal is an elephant? 5 of air, 5 of fire. It seems to be a message about adversity, that perhaps that being in adverse situations with dealing with adversity has kind of worn you down a bit, right? I don't feel like you've had a complete breakdown or you've been broken because of what you've gone through, but it's kind of like constantly dealing with situations, constantly dealing with adversity has taken some of your energy. So just make sure that you're really replenishing it right now, and that you are at your full healthy capacity. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to continue to pull cards and to pull messages for you. I want to go deeper into the shifting of the precognition, but I will continue to pull more and more. So if you'd like to follow me over there, please feel free. All you have to do is click on the link below in the description, and that'll take you right to the extended. If not, thank you so much for joining me and for allowing me to be part of your journey up till now. And I'll see you soon.